Welcome back to our course on establishing the foundations of outcome-centric selling. I hope you're enjoying what you're hearing and you're finding it of practical benefit. And now, in the last module in this introductory course, I want to suggest how you can make the most of this program. Well, our goal is to change your perspective, to challenge the way you currently think about B2B sales. Because, your best chances of improving your performance and your sense of personal achievement come from changing the way you choose to think and act. And that's why we ask you at the end of every course to reflect on what you're now going to start doing, what you're now going to stop doing, and how you're going to improve on what you're currently doing. And of course, yes, to write those commitments down to yourself. So here's how I recommend you ensure you get the maximum possible personal benefit from your participation in the program. Well, firstly, I hope you're approaching these concepts with an open mind. Please take notes, download and use the slide handouts, pause and reflect, give yourself time to think. Discuss the concepts with your colleagues and your managers. Download and use the workbooks and the checklists. Try putting these ideas into practice. And please always embrace and always be learning mindset. There's always new things that we can take on board that can improve our personal performance. And actually, part of improving is to write down a handful of key personal goals. And I strongly encourage you to do that. And yes, of course, please let us know how you think we could improve on this program. Now, I want to introduce you to the Outcome-Centric Selling Toolkit, and if you haven't yet done so, encourage you to download it from this course. And it's your guide to the key sales tools that underpin outcome-centric selling. So let's look at those. And let's start with the workbooks and checklists that really lie at the heart of reinforcement. They're simple, downloadable, customizable one-page templates. They all include straightforward guidelines and they cover key aspects of the outcome-centric selling mindset and methodology. Now you can choose to print them out and complete them by hand, or you can edit them as an online document. And of course, they can also be used as simple visual checklists that remind us of what we need to know and do. Now, when it comes to things like qualification or stakeholder management or building our prospective customers' value story, then completing these checklists inevitably is an ongoing process of refinement rather than a one-off activity. And I'd also suggest to you that using the workbooks, it's particularly valuable when we're working with colleagues and we want to make sure that we're all on the same page and that we've pooled our collective knowledge. Now, the purpose of workbooks and checklists is to serve to highlight what we know for sure, but also to identify what we think we know but need to verify, and what we don't know but we recognize we need to find out. And they should remind us always of the importance of evidence and the need to avoid ever relying on hope or assumption. So here are some examples of those workbooks. When it comes to proactive targeting, you'll find workbooks for key issues, for ideal customer profiles, for key roles, and for trends and trigger events. When it comes to planning to win, you'll find workbooks for territory planning, for account planning, and for mutual success planning with your customer. When it comes to opportunity qualification, you'll find the MedPick Plus Opportunity Qualification Workbook. And when it comes to stakeholder management, well, won't be a surprise, we've got a workbook for that as well. When it comes to planning, preparing, managing, and following up on value creating conversations, we've got a workbook that I think you'll find very helpful for that. And when it comes to progressively building the customer specific value proposition that at the end of the day is going to win you the business, yes, we've got a workbook for that as well. And I really believe in the importance of writing things down. That simple act helps to clarify our thinking and to maximize our chances of achieving our goals. And if you think about it, the average person has thousands of thoughts every day. So it's no surprise that at the very best, we can only ever recall or actually do anything about a tiny fraction of them. We can think we know, but we can never be sure until and unless we see that information in front of us. And the act of writing things down promotes self-reflection, and it helps us to clarify and refine our thoughts. It's been proven to significantly improve retention and recall. And it's also been demonstrated that people who write their goals down rather than just carry them around in their head are 3 times more likely to achieve them than people who make plans but fail to write them down or to follow through. And, I've already talked to this. When we collaborate with colleagues, when we try and make sure that we all share the same critical understanding, that task is far easier when we use a shared structured document. Now, we also believe very strongly in the start, stop, keep doing formula. I think that simple structure is invaluable in helping us to clarify and capture our most important goals and to review our progress against them. And that is why at the end of each course, at the end of this one actually, and in response to what you've learned, we're going to ask you to pause, reflect, to write down what you realize you need to start doing, what you realize you need to stop doing, and what you're going to keep doing, but in an even more effective way. And the reason why this is so important, such a good discipline, is if you're already busy, it's often hard to increase our efforts in high impact areas without reducing or eliminating the amount we put into less productive activity. And it's normally best to restrict our focus to the handful of most important changes in each key area that are likely to have the greatest impact on our chances of success. And that's why we ask you, write these commitments to yourself down, review them regularly, be clear about what success would look like, and please be willing to adjust them in the light of your experience. Now, in order to help you, I want to suggest a handful of books that have shaped the thinking in this program and which I'm sure you'll find thought-provoking. The first one I want to introduce to you is a book called The Checklist Manifesto by Atul Gawande, a Harvard Business and Medical School professor. It's a groundbreaking book. It shows how breaking down complex tasks into small steps can radically improve everything from airline safety to heart surgery survival rates, and most certainly to B2B selling. I really recommend you read it. Secondly, a sales classic by Neil Rackham, Spin Selling, based on research that remains relevant even today. And it shows how top salespeople intelligently apply a range of different question types in the appropriate moments to successfully advance their customers' decision journey. If you haven't yet read it, I recommend you do. If you read it a while ago, I recommend you reread it. The third reading recommendation, The Challenger Customer, the second book in the Challenger Selling series, perhaps the most valuable one in my opinion, because it reveals how today's B2B customers actually go about making complex buying decisions. And it shows what salespeople need to do to facilitate a positive outcome. Another strongly recommended read. And the fourth and most recent book I want to present to you is The Jolt Effect by Matt Dixon, who was one of the original Challenger authors, and Ted McKenna. And together they explain how and why our customers' fear of messing up has such a profound effect on their decision making. And it shows what we can do to help. That's truly a transformational read. Again, I recommend you read that and all of these books. Now, I also believe strongly that starting with the end in mind, taking an outcome-centric approach brings significant benefits, not just to you as a salesperson or to your sales colleagues, but I believe it brings significant benefits throughout the marketing, the prospecting, the selling, and the customer success processes. You see, if we help our colleagues in marketing to embrace outcome-centric selling, it's going to equip and enable them to focus on the issues that matter most to their and our most valuable existing and potential customers. When our prospective teams embrace the outcome-centric mindset, it's going to encourage and enable them to identify and engage their and our most valuable prospects. When it comes to sales, adopting an outcome-centric approach and mindset encourages and enables us to identify, to qualify, to advance, and to close our most valuable sales opportunities. And of course, when we apply outcome-centric thinking to customer success, it encourages, equips, and enables our colleagues in customer success to ensure that the customer's desired business outcomes are actually achieved in practice. So this is why I encourage you to evangelize, to help to align every function in your organization around a common agreement about who your most valuable customers are, what they care about, how you help them, and how and why they choose to buy. And if you want help in doing that, we're here to help in that evangelizing and educating process. So, back to some of the thoughts I shared at the start of this module. How to get the best out of this program. Approach the concepts with an open mind. Take notes. Use the handouts. Pause and reflect. Give yourself time to think. Discuss the ideas with your colleagues and managers. Download and use the tools, the checklists, the workbooks. Put the ideas into practice. See how they work for you. Embrace and always be learning. Things can always be improved mindset. Write down your goals to help you on that improvement journey. And yes, please let us know if you see something that you think we could improve. So what next? We've established the foundations of mastering outcome-centric selling, but the whole program, the remainder of the program, establishes fundamental foundations of modern B2B selling in a series of online self-paced modules. We've got establishing the foundations. Next, you might want to turn to proactive targeting. You might benefit from learning about how to plan to win using an outcome-centric mindset, and how to qualify and forecast using the MedPick Plus discipline, how to prepare to have truly value-creating conversations that advance both the buying journey and your sales process, supported by value-creating conversational skills that help you to share insights, to ask powerful questions, to deal with your customers' concerns, and to share experiences with your customer. And of course, in working with all of those stakeholders, our stakeholder management module will help you to identify all of those players, to understand them better, and to work out how you can build the strongest possible relationship with them. And as the culmination of an outcome-centric selling journey, our customer specific value proposition module shows you how to progressively build towards a truly compelling executive proposal that gives you the best chance of winning your customer's business. Now, each of those courses includes field proven core principles that are designed to help you to identify, to engage, to qualify, to advance, and to win high value business. Each of the courses is accompanied by simple, effective sales tools that enable you to put the principles into practice. And you can, of course, choose which sequence you take the courses in, driven perhaps by your own or your organization's priorities for development. And if you like and appreciate what you've seen in this introductory course, and if you're eager to learn more, and if you haven't already done so, I encourage you to sign up for the whole outcome-centric selling program today. So there we have it. How has this introductory course helped you to think differently? How specifically are you going to change the way you think about B2B selling now in response to some of the ideas we've shared? And what, on reflection, are you now determined to start doing? What do you realize you probably need to stop doing? And how are you going to make what you were already doing even more effective as a result of embracing some of these ideas? And yes, I want to encourage you to make some simple commitments to yourself about what you are going to start, stop, and keep doing. And I want to help you to do that. So if you haven't already done so, please download the Outcome-Centric Selling Course Checklist and Action Plan. It's an editable Word document, and you can either print it out and write into it, or you can enter it online. Now, please turn to the Establishing the Foundations page. And yes, here's your chance to reflect on the most important things you've learned in this introductory course and to identify for yourself no more than 1 to 3 things, the most important ones, that you commit to yourself you're now going to start doing as a result of participating in this course. Equally important, though, I want you to reflect and capture 1 to 3 things that you realize you need to commit to yourself, that you need to stop doing as a result of participating in this course. And yes, a handful of things that you commit to yourself you're actually going to continue doing, but you can see how to do it in an even more effective way as a result of participating in this course. So write them down, act on them, be clear about what success would look like, resolve to review them regularly, and be willing to adjust them in the light of experience. So please complete that action plan. I think you'll find it a very effective way of concentrating your thinking and prioritizing your actions. So there we have it. I hope you've appreciated that introduction to the principles of outcome-centric selling, that you see how relevant they could be to your current sales activities, and that you'll want to put them into practice in both your current and future significant sales opportunities. And I want to wish you the very best of success in doing that. But that's, of course, only part of the journey. Although we've concluded our foundational course, I want to encourage you to sign up and enjoy the remaining courses in this program. And I look forward to seeing you online for those courses in the very near future.